Good morning, fans. Did you miss us? It is episode number 26 of the Midwest Donut Review Show. I'm Dave Leggett in St. Louis, Missouri. That's my son, Eric Leggett, in Sacramento, California, hence the Mid and the West. If you've never joined us before, we like to review the same donuts. Eric out on the West Coast, me in the Midwest. We will size them, price them, take pictures, taste test them, and let you know if you need to try that donut, or more importantly, try that donut shop. Mm-hmm. And Eric, how are you doing this Friday morning?
You say I'm in Sacramento, but man, it does not fucking look like it. It is.
What is it?
Cold and rainy and dark. And I completely blame daylight savings time. I think this is completely because of daylight saving time's fault. Even the weather bit, I think it's that
Are you
fault.
sure you're not maybe in Seattle or Portland or something?
I'm definitely not there. I should be in Sacramento, but daylight savings time has decided to completely mess everything up.
So if I tell you that it's 80 and sunny here in St. Louis today, that's probably not what you want to hear?
Yeah, that would upset me greatly, I think.
Well, then I'm not going to say a word.
Great. Thanks. Appreciate that.
We have taken a couple of weeks off, so now we're raring to go. And at the end of today's show, we have a surprise for everybody. Surprise, a little announcement. And it might even be a surprise to Eric.
Yep, as you're saying this, it's a surprise to me as well. So that's fun.
Oh, the ultimate surprise when your co-host has no idea what you're about to say.
Yep.
I mean, that's every show, though.
Yeah, that's fair. I have no idea what's going to come out of your mouth.
Okay, so we normally kick off our shows with the donut news of the week. Eric, you've had a little time to cull and avoid the chain crapola.
Yes.
Unless it's something that we can dunk on.
Yes, that's fair. I've just sorting through. Every time I look for donut news, it's like 70% whatever Dunkin' or Krispy Kreme is doing these days, whatever bullshit they've concocted. Probably like 25% shops closing, which sucks.
Oh, man.
And then 5% it's just like miscellaneous stuff. And every so often, like something like tangent, like the word donut is used in something. It's like, it's not actually about donuts. It's like, oh, a car got caught doing donuts. And it's like, that's not really what I'm looking for. But I appreciate it nonetheless. This comes to us from Dallas, Fort Worth. And it's called Donut Shop Remodel, serving up lessons for multiple students in HEB-ISD.
Okay, so they're teaching kids how to make donuts?
Not quite.
Okay.
So, abandoned long ago, the city of Hearst... Alright? The city of Hearst didn't know... Can your cat stop interrupting? Can your cat stop interrupting me, please?
Go away.
Abandoned long ago, the city of Hearst didn't know what to do with an old donut shop on West Pipeline Road. No one wanted to buy it and spend the money to fix it up, and the city couldn't afford a job like that. Or could they? The Hearst Euless Bedford ISD has a career and technical center where high schoolers study architecture and interior design. Usually they just get whatever project I give to them and I make up, said teacher Tim Anderson. This time, the students got to tour a real-life building and get an assignment to redesign it into a coffee shop. Okay. So they are taking this abandoned donut shop and having high school students go in and figure out a way to fix it up and remodel it and make it into a new shop. It does say it's a coffee shop, but hopefully it's also still serves donuts, because that would be fun.
Yeah.
The kids continue to like go to the shop and then go back to the classroom, so it's not just like you're not going off pictures. Like, they are actually physically there and are working on fixing it up for the city. The students. Is there
an end date? Is there an opening date? Anything like that announced?
Not yet, but the students will present their final ideas to the city, which will choose the winning team and hire construction workers to make the students' plan come to life.
Wow. That's outstanding
Yeah.
donut news of the week.
Yeah.
To get a young generation interested in it.
And to see it actually come to fruition. It's not like you're designing something in virtual reality, or you're not just making an idea and then that's the end of it. If you're...
It's not a donut shop in The Sims.
Yes, it is. It's a donut shop in The Sims that now it will get translated to real life.
Yes. Yeah, that's great news.
And
it
doesn't stop there. It won't just be any coffee shop, but one operated by the special needs students in HEB ISD. It's a concept popular in schools now, teaching those students what it's like to place orders, count change, and serve customers so they too can be a part of the workforce.
Man, elbow grease. That's what all that is.
Yep.
You are giving them your blood, sweat, and tears and seeing results.
Yep.
Man,
Brilliant. One old abandoned donut shop gives back to arts, engineering, and job skills. Not only are those good things, but also for young people. Just
yes.
Whole lot of good stuff because of this abandoned donut shop.
Well, I don't know if any part of the rest of the show is going to be that uplifting.
No, definitely not. There's no way.
Okay, so I spun the donut wheel, and this show, it stopped on Minnesota. So I'm going to call this section Mini Donuts.
Funny.
You're welcome.
Funny.
The best donuts in Minnesota. First place is called So Yen Desserts in St. Paul. They do hand-rolled brioche donuts. So, already, great start.
Oh, yeah.
Mango cream cheese, one of their flavors. Coffee infused with chocolate-covered espresso beans.
Ooh.
Blueberry jam infused cream cheese with blueberries and cornflake crumble. My goodness, that's a place, if you're near, you gotta walk in.
Oh,
you
yeah.
gotta give that a try. There is another one called Donut Hut, not a chain, not affiliated with Pizza Hut in any way, shape, or form.
Is
And
the
they are
business in an old Pizza Hut? Because that would be very fun.
It does not. The pictures say no.
Wow.
It's in Little Canada, Minnesota, so we already like it a little bit more. They do all the classics. They're open 6 days a week. Here's what I really love about this joint. They've been open since 2001, so yay, mom and pop, 24 years strong. Every day, at the end of the day, they donate whatever is left to pantries and shelters. Every day. Brilliant.
That's the way.
Dozen donuts.
That's the way it should be done.
Dozen donuts, $11.50.
Woo!
What? Yeah. So again, anywhere near Little Canada, Minnesota, Donut Hut.
Donut Hut.
Finally,
And it's fun to say. Donut Hut.
they got to have a great jingle for that. We'll look that up.
Donut Hut.
The Donut Trap is also a very highly rated Minnesota donut joint. They're in St. Paul. Mm-hmm. They do plant-based donuts. Their mission statement: they want to serve good quality donuts like their favorite shop in Los Angeles, and they want to combine it with art.
That sounds good.
They want to empower Black youth and people of color with resources and skills that they can apply and use to leverage their worth and improve their quality of life. They also,
like
what
they
a mission
needed
statement.
more.
Right. They actually have their own donut vending machines. Ever seen one?
No, that sounds
me neither.
incredible.
They have 6 of them in the Minnesota area. 4 of them are in bars and breweries.
That's perfect.
2 of them are in airport terminals.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Here's the super fun part. They are having fun making donuts. One of the donuts is called a Compton Ass Terry. Terry's the one who started this. It's crunchy peanut butter and Oreo cookie.
Oh, shit.
They have the Oh Fuck Yeah salted caramel and toffee donut. They have the Girl Love Beyonce donut, which is dark chocolate and cherry amaretto. They have the thick Judge Judy donut, which is cookies and cream. So, if you are anywhere near Donut Trap in St. Paul,
in the airport,
or one of the breweries or bars, my God, give Donut Trap a taste if you are in Minnesota, eh?
Well, now we need to go to Minnesota for the World Juniors this year, just so we can fly into that airport and get donuts from a vending machine.
That seems like an extravagance to have a donut.
It's part of the experience. It makes the donut taste even better.
You go where the job calls you.
Exactly.
All right. So we always start off the show tasting glazed donuts because a donut shop, quite simply, you've got to make a good glazed donut before you can start venturing off into other flavors and textures and types and everything. Yeah. So, Eric, tell me about the place you went today.
So today I went to Bradshaw Donuts. This is 3643 Bradshaw Road, number 4, here in Sacramento, California. This was kind of my old stomping ground. When I first moved here, this was the donut shop closest to my apartment. So I had been here a couple times. But since I've moved away from that place, it had been a while since I've gone back here. I do remember the first time I went to this donut shop. I was still unemployed, hadn't found a job yet out here, and I asked if they were hiring, and they just kind of laughed. I think they thought it was a joke. I was not joking. I was very serious, but they did not think so. So if they were, I don't know. They didn't tell me. But Bradshaw Donuts, this glazed donut, was 3 3/4 inches across and 1.5 inches tall. This one was $1.50, which I'd say is a good price for out here. I'd say like $1.50 out here would be like your, like, I don't know, $1.15 or $1.20 out in Missouri.
Sure.
Pretty standard donut price. First thing I noticed about this glazed donut, it's just a beautiful looking fucking donut. Just gorgeous glaze on it. It's golden, like just a sexy looking donut. And at the very bottom of it, it wasn't glazed on the bottom, but it was almost like how the glaze kind of like fell. It was almost like it was a glaze like case on it, with how even like the bottom of the donut was covered in glaze.
Okay.
It was like they had a plain donut and a case of glaze that they just snapped it into place. It was almost a little too perfect. Almost.
I want to see that machine.
And we say you need a good glazed donut to move on to anything else. And I'd say this glazed donut is passable. I'd say this is not the minimum. I'd say a little bit more than the minimum requirement of a good enough glazed donut to be going on and doing more stuff. The main thing that turned me off of this glazed donut was the dough texture. I like a glazed donut that's super light and airy and fluffy, and this was a little too dense for my taste. And the glaze was thicker than I thought it was going to be. So with a denser yeast and a thick glaze, there were a couple bites where it almost I was kind of eating a cake donut.
Oh wow, that is thick.
It got, thick glaze and a dense yeast. There were a couple bites where I'm like, this kind of feels like a cake donut. But the glaze itself was really good. I wouldn't say anything to write home about. No, it definitely wasn't too sweet, which is good. I'd say I want to give this donut like a 3.6. I think this is a solid, passable glazed donut.
Let me ask you a question. So you mentioned that it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Are they all gorgeous? Does it look just like...
I'd say most of them were. I definitely, because when I went in to get my donuts today, I did get a dozen, and I got 3 regular glazed donut. And I did pick the sexiest one, because I'm doing a podcast, and I'm taking a picture of it. I picked the nicest looking one.
Well, the reason I ask that is because my glazed donut is the rustic. No 2 glazed donuts in their case look the same. And I just love, because I know that's not flipping them off a machine. Mm-hmm. That is hand turning your donuts. And I went to Duke Bakery today in Alton, Illinois. For those of you unfamiliar with the area, it's called the Metro East. It is right across the river from St. Louis, and West Alton is in that area, and 25 minutes drive from where I am. Considered Metro St. Louis. The Duke Bakery in Alton opened in 1951.
Whoa.
Really cool part of this. 3rd generation family now running it. Passed on from mom and dad to son and daughter, on to daughter. And some people might go, Dave, why are you in a bakery and not a donut shop? Because this bakery makes donuts. And so here's the key. I bet you do a phenomenal cake. Are you spending the same effort to make a great donut? Mm-hmm. Right? So if you're making donuts, make them great. Do your very best. And so this glazed donut, 4 inches by 4.5 inches. Again, not a perfect circle. You'll see in the pictures what I mean by the rustic look. It's up and down and not a perfect circle. It's 1.25 inches tall. It is $1.29, so really good price. I love. I'll go back and make the point. I love that the donuts they appear to be individually made, not machine made. The dough, just by itself, just taking a bite underneath where there's no glaze, just the dough, is excellent. It's really flavorful by itself. It's the melting dough. It's not the chew sort of dough. It melts, it disappears. I love that aspect of a glazed donut. The glaze is excellent. It's sweet. It's not sickly sweet. It's not too sweet. It doesn't overpower. It complements the dough. Melts in your mouth. Great price. Holy crap, 4.6. This is probably the second best glazed donut that I've had in our 26 shows.
Wow.
It's just, man, these next 2 donuts have
Yeah.
have a hill to climb, because that is an excellent glazed donut from Duke Bakery.
Damn.
And their bakery is, so I actually even got a green glazed donut for St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, you texted me that, and it took me way too long to figure out that it was for St. Patrick's Day. It's like, green glazed? What the fuck is he talking about?
And so they're filled with just beautiful cookies and cakes and muffins, and the bakery items in the
iced
cases.
Sugar cookies.
Yes,
Fuck
absolutely.
Yeah. That's I love that. I love a homemade iced sugar cookie.
It's the bakery stuff looks phenomenal. And so, can you make a good donut? No, you make a fucking great glazed donut. So, yeah, what a great start for Duke Bakery.
Hell yeah. So our next donut is a blueberry cake donut. Mine, it was 3 inches across and 1 inch tall. I'd say in terms of cake donuts, this one was like, I'd say on the bigger side. It wasn't as big and fluffy as I would like, but a lot of times cake donuts can kind of just look like a ball, and this definitely looked like a donut, which is nice. Also $1.50. And this blueberry cake donut, the first thing that I noticed about this donut is this one was just in the fryer for too long. This was crispy.
Look, yeah.
I don't like to crunch on a donut. I just don't. Like, even an old-fashioned, I don't love a crunchy. And unfortunately, that's what I got with this blueberry cake donut. Just in the fryer too long. It was a little too dark as well. Like, I think this one maybe spent, 20 or 30 more seconds longer in the fryer than it needed to. The other thing that I didn't really love about this donut is the mix of glaze to blueberry flavor. This was the same glaze on the other glazed donut, which is a thick glaze, which I think takes away from the blueberry cake itself. Because I think the blueberry cake was really good. I just think a lot of times it got overpowered by the glaze just because of how much glaze was on there. It worked better with just a plain glazed donut because you're getting more dough in there to mix with it. But since this is smaller, there's not a good balance of it. So I liked the blueberry cake flavor itself. I just wish I got a little bit more of it and a little less of the sweet glaze. So I think I want to give this like a 3-1. It's definitely not in the top tier of blueberry donuts that I've had on the show. Okay. And at the end of the day, it all just goes back to proper frying time. This was in the fryer too long. It's got to be softer. As a cake donut, has to be softer. I should not crunch on a donut. That's just the end of the line.
Okay, my blueberry donut is 3.5 inches around, 1.25 inches tall, and a little surprising for me, it's $1.69. They consider it a specialty donut, not just a cake donut. But when you get into the dough, you immediately realize why. Because this, I don't know if you can tell, it is freaking loaded with real blueberries. It's sweet. The dough is sweet, but for the first time, it's so fruit forward. It's almost tart. Maybe there's some lemon in it, but it's almost tart. And I love that sort of juxtaposition of the sweet and the sour, the sweet and the tart. I mean, Sweet Tart has made billions of dollars off that combo in their
they
candy.
know what they're doing.
And so doing it in a donut, it's different than any blueberry donut I've ever had because it's so real and tart. They have the great glaze that was on the yeast donut. It's phenomenal. The dough, you had mentioned maybe yours was fried a little too long. This is perfect. It's the same on the outside as it is on the inside and the bottom. It is consistent throughout. Fabulous dough, great glaze. It is not as light of a cake donut as I've had and enjoy a little bit more. It is a little bit dense, but maybe when you pack it with all those freaking blueberries, you got no choice, to pack it together like that. But it's still a really excellent blueberry cake donut with glaze, and that's a 3.9 for me. Maybe if it was a little cheaper, the size is good, the flavor's good. I mean, that's, we always go back to if you're bringing in donuts for your coworkers and you bring in a dozen of these, coworkers are going to be thrilled to have donuts like this. So, great job on the blueberry cake donut, Duke Bakery.
$1? You said it was $1.69?
Yes.
That's pretty crazy for out there. $1.70 for a donut.
Yeah. But it's different, man. It is. So, yeah, now I see why they consider it a specialty donut.
Yeah, because there's real big fucking blueberries in there. Okay, our third donut today is one that I don't get a whole lot often because it's not super.
We actually look for this quite often and are unable to come up with them for both of us.
Yes. This is a vanilla cake donut with vanilla icing. Vanilla icing is not super easy to find out here on the West Coast. It's usually chocolate icing and maple icing. So I think just the fact that Bradshaw Donuts had vanilla icing donuts out there, I think gives them a plus. More variety, the better. This was 3¼ inches across, 1¼ tall. Again, $1.50. Good price for it. And I'd say this was a really solid vanilla donut. The first thing I really loved about this donut is the texture of the icing. It was like draped on there, and it was a kind of melt in your mouth icing, which I really like. And the thing with vanilla icing is that it is super easy to make it more sugar than vanilla. Because vanilla is a very, muted flavor. It's so easy to go extra and make it just sweet. Not vanilla flavor, just sweet. And this was not the case with this frosting. It was definitely vanilla flavored. And it was a really strong vanilla cake as well. Yeah, I mean, this is just a solid vanilla cake donut. I will say there were some excess sprinkles on mine that got on it from donuts next to it in the case, which normally, here's the thing, I would complain about that because I don't want any fucking sprinkles on any of my donuts, but they did the extra mile in my dozen today. I got a powdered sugar cake donut, which, again, I fucking love, and it's not super available out here.
Right.
But what they did is they covered it in, like, that paper that you, like, grab a donut with. They covered it and put it in the box so it didn't get powdered sugar on all the other donuts in the box.
That is adding an extra step to customer service.
Yes, that is. Not only did they give me an extra donut for free, they did that. That's just the extra mile. So I'm willing to let bygones be bygones with these excess sprinkles that ended up on my donut. It's a wash. So I think I want to give this like a 3.7. Again, really nothing to write home about. I wouldn't say this is a donut where you go in and you have to get it. Except for the fact that vanilla icing just isn't super popular out here. So, this is, if you're having a craving for vanilla icing, I think this will absolutely satiate that. 3.7, super solid.
Oh, brother. Coming around sniffing for some donut leftovers.
I mean, well, you keep throwing the fucking high 3s and mid 4s. Obviously, they're going to come by and
they are excellent.
See what all the hubbub's about.
All right, so my vanilla iced cake. The dough, great flavor, fried so well. Top's the same as the bottom and the middle. Again, a little bit too thick of a cake for me, not a light and airy cake. Here is the blow your mind. It's a lemon flavored vanilla icing. It is so different and frickin' delicious.
That sounds so good.
You'll see in the pictures, but they iced it perfectly. It's a little thick on the top, but it only goes down a little bit on the side.
Lemon
because
vanilla.
It's so. If they had that all over the whole donut, it would be way too much. They've found that sweet spot, no pun intended, of icing to dough. How much icing do we put on so it complements and doesn't overpower? Mm-hmm. Duke Bakery found it. And that surprise of having a lemon when you're expecting vanilla it's just excellent. It is smooth. It's a smooth icing. It's not gritty. It's not sugary. It's not. So, am I surprised that a bakery does icing well? No, not. But my God, that's
the fact
above
that
and beyond.
they still translate it to donuts. I think is if you're going to be surprised about anything, it's that they still care enough to do it on the donuts as well as their cakes.
Right.
That the donuts
right.
are not an afterthought. They're just as important as everything else in the bakery.
Because the time they take to fry it, the different flavors, the extra steps they take, back down to the $1.29 cake donuts. I can't go any lower than a 4 for this donut. For the price, for the surprise of a lemon vanilla icing. It's just great. Yeah. So
what's your score?
Duke Bakery. Wait, a 4.0?
4.0.
Yeah, Duke knocking it out of the ballpark, man. Just
that reminds me. I think an orange dreamsicle donut would be fucking incredible.
An orange cake with
vanilla
orange.
icing. Or maybe just like a vanilla cake with like an orange vanilla icing.
Yes,
I think would be.
That's a great idea.
I love orange dreamsicle. Is like probably one of my like favorite, just like flavors of things.
Yes,
and you mix pretty much like any fruit with vanilla, it's gonna turn out pretty good.
It's such a complimentary.
Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, lemon vanilla. God, that sounds so good. I'm jealous now, man. It sounds so good.
So, what I wanted to mention, in case you didn't notice, got my work shirt on.
The uniform.
The uniform. Love it. Shout out to Matt Namey again. I don't know if I'm going to shout out every time I wear it, but man, I just love it. I just freaking love it.
Yeah, it's too cold for me to just put on a t-shirt. And I refuse to turn on the heat in my apartment.
We generally end our shows with a little bit of trivia. Eric, I have donuts in the movies for this week.
All right. I see a lot of movies.
In 2004, Dodgeball.
Okay, I've seen that a couple times.
What actor electrocutes himself every time he touches a donut?
Oh, it was Ben Stiller as the...
Ben Stiller. That's exactly right.
Yeah, he does that thing, and then at the very end of the movie, he's just shoving his face with donuts. As he should.
I don't know that shoving is the nomenclature you need for donuts. You know, a couple at a time.
Hey, when you've been holding yourself back for that long, I think shoving is good. I think shoving's warranted.
In the very first Transformers movie in 2007, Shia LaBeouf, Megan Fox.
I've seen it. It's been a while.
How many donuts does Anthony Edwards eat in the interrogation scene?
Oh, I remember it so clearly. Donuts in movies always catch my attention because very rarely are they eaten, and it drives me fucking insane. Someone like brings a box of donuts, they're like, "Look," and then they just set them to the side, and then that's it. You don't. It's like donuts right there. How many does he eat? I'm gonna.
His rationale is if they bring you donuts and you don't eat them, you're guilty.
Yeah.
So he cleans the plate.
I want to say...
And then as soon as they walk in and drop the paper on the table, he yells, "She did it! She did it!"
Fuck. How many donuts was that? I'm gonna say just a clean dozen.
It was 8 donuts.
8 donuts.
Stacked on the plate. And he proved his innocence by eating 8 donuts.
Yes. That checks out for me.
Our final trivia question. One reviewer of this said, "It is the most excruciating 30 seconds Al Pacino has ever put on film." In the 2011 Adam Sandler movie Jack and Jill.
Oh my God, I remember this.
What does Al Pacino change his name to for a Dunkin' Donuts commercial?
Dunkachino.
Dunkachino.
What an absolutely horrid thing that was created on the planet.
Oh my God.
Al, you did not need the money that bad. I don't care how into debt you were at that point. Going that low is...
It is so cringy.
It's so bad.
It's hard to watch.
It's really
It's like
hard
I
to
want to laugh because they're being ridiculous.
But it's Al Pacino. Don't
Right.
do that, man. At the end of the day, it's
God.
Al Pacino. You can't do that to that man.
All right, 2 out of 3 today.
Yeah.
Not bad. Not bad. All right, so that ends show number 26. Oh, not yet. Not yet.
Oh,
our surprise.
Your surprise.
Our surprise.
I don't know what it is.
You're involved, buddy.
Cool.
By hook or
That's
crook,
the
you are
best
part
part of
of this.
surprise is a thing I'm involved in that I don't know about.
We are going to have 2 donut shows in the very near future where Eric and I are in the same place. We're going to do one back here in the Midwest, and then we're going to do one in New Orleans. Now, they are the world leading purveyor of beignets.
Yes.
And we will absolutely have beignets, but they also have a super strong donut vibe in New Orleans. So we'll do a show on the road while we're down there.
Yeah.
Maybe not too early in the morning.
No.
But so 2 special shows coming up. We still have time for a couple more regular Midwest Donut Review shows before we get together and head out on the road. So, Eric, we need a little help from our fans to give us some advice. Where are we headed?
Yes.
Where are we going? What do we need to do?
So if you're watching on YouTube right now, get in the comments. Comment where we should go. Comment we should get, we shouldn't get, all that good stuff. And while you're down there, make sure you're subscribing to the channel. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, rate and review the show. In that review, tell us all that good stuff, what we need to know. And the more you do that, the more you interact, the more this gets in front of new ears and new eyes to do the same thing that you're doing. And if you're on Instagram, you can find us on Instagram in the show notes and Apple Podcasts, and in the description of the YouTube video is our Instagram handle. We post pictures of all the donuts we've eaten today. And it's one of the first places that we post a new episode has dropped. So if you follow that Instagram, comment on any of those posts, we'll see it, and you'll be notified every time there's a new episode.
And here's the thing I keep going back to. Whenever you see like best donuts in St. Louis, and I'm sure you do see this in Sacramento as well, it's like the same 10 or 12 shops over and over and over, which is fine. And a lot of it is absolutely justified. What we would love is for a place out of the way, in a strip mall, in the middle of nowhere, that does great donuts. We want to know about the places that are not on everybody's wish list.
Yeah, exactly.
So, new experiences for everybody. Throw a little love to more mom and pops out there. That's kind of the goal here.
Yeah.
So, all right. Show number 26 in the books. Eric, thank you so much for hanging with me. I appreciate the time, and we will see you very soon. I'm Dave. That's Eric. This has been the Midwest Donut Review Show. Thanks, everybody.
Goodbye.